You find yourself in the middle of such an intense storm that you can't see the end. Everything around you seems to be falling apart, and you wonder if you'll be able to endure it. Difficulties rise like relentless waves, one after another, and with each hit, your confidence wavers. What once felt stable now feels uncertain. Deep down, you start to question, why did God allow this to happen to you? Why did He place you in this challenging situation? Doubt fills your heart, and the feeling of abandonment grows heavier with each passing day. This storm isn't just external, it reflects inside you. Unanswered questions echo in your mind, and you feel lost, without direction. No matter how much you try to hold on to your faith, fear starts to suffocate any hope. The promises that once gave you strength now seem distant, as if they were made for someone else, not for you. Lesson 1. Faith is tested in the middle of the storm. It's in the eye of the storm that your faith is truly put to the test. When everything seems to be falling apart and there's no solution in sight, that's when God teaches you the first lesson. Your faith doesn't grow stronger in peaceful times, but in moments of chaos. When hardships come, He's not punishing you, but allowing you to be shaped so that your trust in Him can grow. You realize that true faith isn't about believing when everything is going well, but continuing to believe when everything is going wrong. The storm reveals how much you depend on God, and it's in that moment that He asks you to let go of control, to trust in His plan, even when you don't understand it. The pain you feel now isn't without purpose. It's building a strength in you that could only emerge through trials. God challenges you to keep hope alive, even when the answer seems distant. He reminds you that even in the darkest hours, your faith has the power to move mountains. Lesson 2. God is in control, even when He seems silent. There are moments when you cry out to God in desperation, expecting an immediate answer, but all you hear is silence. This silence, as painful as it may be, is one of the deepest lessons God teaches you in storms. He is in control, even when you don't feel His presence or hear His voice. Sometimes you feel alone, as if your prayers aren't being heard, but God is working quietly, preparing something that you can't yet see. The absence of a clear answer doesn't mean He has abandoned you. On the contrary, it's in this silence that He invites you to trust even more. It's easy to believe God is with you when everything is going well, but the real test of faith is to keep believing when you see no signs. God reminds you that His vision is far greater than yours, and what you interpret as silence may actually be the time when He's creating something much bigger than you could imagine. God never loses control of your life. He knows your fears, your pain, and every unanswered prayer. The lesson is that even when it seems like nothing is happening, God is orchestrating the details of your victory, acting with purpose and precision. Lesson 3. Patience is necessary to overcome storms. When the storm seems endless, the waiting can become unbearable. You want the pain to end soon, for the solution to come immediately, but God teaches you an essential lesson. Patience is necessary. Often, what bothers you most during the trial is not just the problem itself, but the time that seems to drag on. The feeling of being stuck, that nothing is changing, can be suffocating. However, it's in this waiting period that God is working in you. Patience isn't just about waiting, but about how you wait. God uses this time of uncertainty to teach the importance of trusting the process. He shows you that things happen not in your time, but in His time. During the wait, He is shaping your heart, strengthening your faith, and preparing you for what's to come. This lesson is challenging because you have no control over the divine clock. As the weeks or months drag on, your desire to give up may grow, but God asks you to persevere. He knows that at the end of this storm, you will be stronger and more prepared to receive the blessings He has reserved for you. The patience He cultivates in you now will be the key to opening doors you never imagined. Lesson 4. Storms reveal your character. It is in the storms that your true essence comes to light. When everything is fine, it's easy to stay calm and appear strong. But when life puts you to the test, who you really are is revealed. God uses these turbulent moments to show you something you might not be able to see. The weaknesses and areas that still need to be worked on. This is one of the hardest lessons, but also one of the most transformative. The storm acts as a mirror, reflecting your attitudes, fears, and reactions. You begin to see how you respond under pressure, how you deal with frustration and uncertainty. What was once hidden behind the calm routine now becomes evident. Perhaps you realize there is suppressed anger, a lack of patience, or a tendency to panic at the first obstacle. God doesn't expose you to these storms to humiliate you, but to refine you. He teaches you that recognizing your weaknesses isn't a sign of failure, but the first step toward growth. Storms are opportunities for you to become stronger, more resilient, and more self-aware. Through these challenges, God is shaping your character, making you better prepared for future blessings and to help others in their own struggles. Accepting this lesson means understanding that the path to spiritual maturity requires facing who you truly are. Lesson 5. Dependence on God is the key to overcoming. In the midst of the storm, there comes an inevitable moment when your strength runs out. You try to control the situation, fix things your way, but nothing seems to work. And it's precisely at this point of exhaustion that God teaches you one of the most important lessons. You cannot get through this storm alone. He reminds you that true strength doesn't lie in your abilities or strategies, but in your complete dependence on Him. It's easy to forget about God when everything is under control, but in difficulties, you are forced to acknowledge that you need Him more than ever. God uses this time of vulnerability to draw you closer, to have you surrender your fears, your pain, and your future into His hands. He doesn't want you to carry all the weight alone because he knows that burden is greater than you can bear. Instead of fighting the storm with your own strength, he invites you to rest in him, trusting that he has the power to calm the wind and the waves. Dependence on God isn't a sign of weakness but of wisdom. He wants you to understand that in all areas of your life, he is present, guiding, and protecting you. By giving God control, you allow him to work supernaturally in your life, leading you through paths you never imagined. With this lesson, God teaches you that in storms, it's not about your ability to fight, but about your willingness to trust. Lesson 6. The storm always passes. No matter how intense the storm may seem right now, it won't last forever. This is a fundamental lesson God teaches you. No difficulty is eternal. In the midst of the trial, it's easy to believe that this pain will drag on indefinitely, that you'll be stuck in this situation forever. But God reminds you that storms have a purpose, and they also have an end. Every storm that comes into your life brings lessons, growth, and transformation. Though it's hard to see while you're in the middle of it, God assures you that this struggle will pass, and with it will come renewal. You will emerge stronger, wiser, and more prepared for what lies ahead. God never allows you to face something that you cannot overcome with him by your side. The rain may seem endless, the wind unbearable, but there comes a moment when the clouds break and the sun shines again. The peace you long for is not far off. It's on the horizon, waiting for the right time to appear. God reminds you that blessings are beyond the storm, and when this difficult moment passes, you'll see that he was with you all along, strengthening you to face the next chapter of your journey. This lesson teaches you to have patience and hope, even in the darkest moments, because God's promise is certain. The storm always passes, and after it comes a new beginning. Lesson 7. The greater purpose always reveals itself after the storm. When the storm finally passes, something profound begins to unfold. God teaches you that after every storm, a greater purpose emerges. In the midst of chaos, it's almost impossible to understand why there's so much suffering. But once you make it through, you realize that God was working towards something far greater than just calming the circumstances. He was transforming you. Trials aren't just moments of pain, but opportunities for growth and spiritual maturity. God doesn't allow you to go through hardships without a reason. He uses these storms to teach you lessons you would never learn in times of calm. Perhaps you don't yet fully understand why you had to go through this struggle, but in time, clarity will come. You'll see how each challenge was preparing you for something bigger, for a divine purpose that can only be understood once the dust settles. This lesson is about seeing beyond the storm, about believing that, amidst all the pain and confusion, God is guiding you to a future full of meaning. Sometimes, he allows you to go through difficult moments so that you can grow, mature, and eventually help others facing their own storms. God teaches you that all suffering has a redemptive purpose and that, even in the worst situations, He is writing a bigger story, a story of victory. When life's storms hit, you often find yourself on your knees, seeking answers, strength, and comfort. God teaches you that hardships, as painful as they may be, have the power to draw you closer to Him like nothing else can. In moments when you feel everything around you is falling apart, you realize just how much you need God. The storm, instead of driving you away, calls you closer, making you understand that true safety, peace, and strength can only be found in Him. You begin to notice that in times of calm, it's easy to set faith aside, but in the midst of trials, your search for God becomes more intense and genuine. In desperation, you discover a depth in your relationship with Him that perhaps didn't exist before. God draws you near, not to see you suffer, but so that you may understand He is the refuge amidst the chaos, the safe harbor in the turbulent waters. This lesson reveals that the storm does not have the power to destroy you. On the contrary, it strengthens you spiritually because it is through it that your connection with God deepens. When everything else fails, you remember that He is the solid rock upon which you can lean. And as you draw near to Him, you find the peace that the world cannot offer, even in the midst of the hurricane. As you navigate through the storms of life, God teaches you a powerful lesson. Your pain can become a vehicle to help others. When you go through difficulties, you don't just grow and transform, but you also become a light for those facing their own storms. This is a valuable opportunity to serve, support, and inspire others. When you share your experiences and the lessons learned, you offer hope and courage to those who feel lost and alone. The pain you've endured is not in vain. It can be the key to opening the eyes of someone who is silently struggling. God shows you that even in the darkest situations, you can be a living testimony of His goodness and faithfulness. Serving others amidst your own storm not only helps those around you, but also brings a sense of purpose to your own pain. When you reach out to help, even in difficult times, you discover a new strength within yourself. This connection with others and the ability to offer support create a cycle of love and compassion that reflects God's heart. This lesson is a reminder that your journey is not just about you. It's about how your story can inspire and help others overcome their challenges. The storm may be challenging, but it is also an opportunity for you to become an agent of change and hope in the lives of others. In every act of kindness, however small, you plant seeds of faith and love that can blossom in the midst of despair. One of the most surprising lessons that God teaches you through storms is the importance of gratitude. When life seems to fall apart and challenges pile up, it's easy to focus only on losses and pain. However, God invites you to look beyond the storms and find reasons to be thankful, even in the midst of chaos. Gratitude is a powerful practice that transforms your perspective. It doesn't mean ignoring the pain or downplaying difficulties, but rather acknowledging that, even in the most challenging situations, there are blessings to be found. When you pause to reflect on the little things, a friend who supports you, a moment of peace, a lesson learned, you begin to shift your focus. This change of focus helps ease the intensity of the storm, bringing a sense of peace and hope. Moreover, gratitude has the power to heal. When you express gratitude, even in hard times, you create space for God to work in your life. He delights when you recognize His blessings, and this open-hearted attitude allows you to receive even more. Gratitude not only helps you weather the storm, but also prepares you for the future blessings He has in store for you. By practicing gratitude, you transform your view of suffering. You start to see storms as opportunities for growth, and each difficulty becomes a chance to draw closer to God. This lesson teaches you that, even in pain, there's always something to be grateful for. And this attitude of gratitude can light up even the darkest days. Through storms, God teaches you that every challenge is an opportunity to grow and strengthen spiritually. In moments of crisis, when you feel weak and vulnerable, there's a valuable chance to deepen your faith and trust in God. He doesn't want you to go through storms without purpose. Every challenge is an opportunity to develop resilience and a stronger character. When storms come, you are forced to confront your limitations and fears. It's a moment of reflection where you ask yourself, where is my faith? What am I placing my trust in? This kind of questioning can be uncomfortable, but it is essential for spiritual growth. It is in this space of vulnerability that God can shape and prepare you for the challenges ahead. Each storm is a lesson that strengthens your spiritual foundation. You learn to pray with more fervor, to seek God's word with more intensity, and to trust Him in ways you never did before. The fragility you feel in the midst of turmoil can transform into renewed spiritual strength, allowing you to rise stronger than before. These moments of growth are not just for you. They also serve to prepare you to help others. As you face your storms, you gain a deeper understanding of human suffering and the need for compassion. Your experience of spiritual growth becomes a light for those who are going through similar struggles, allowing you to share your faith and inspire others to trust in God as well. God teaches you that through storms, you don't just overcome challenges, but you also become a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. This journey of spiritual growth is a testimony to God's love and grace in your life, showing that even in the fiercest storms, there is always an opportunity to rise and grow stronger. Finally, one of the most profound lessons that God teaches you through storms is the promise of renewal. Just as nature renews itself after the rain, your life can also experience a powerful transformation after facing difficulties. God assures you that after every storm, there's an opportunity to start fresh, grow, and flourish in new ways. When you find yourself in the midst of the storm, it can be difficult to imagine that something good could come from it. But God is always working behind the scenes, preparing a new path. He has the power to restore what was lost, heal wounds, and bring hope where there was once despair. This renewal is not only physical but also emotional and spiritual. Every storm you go through shapes you, teaches you, and prepares you for a brighter future. After the storm, you may discover new passions, purposes, and directions in your life that were not visible before. God uses difficulties to open doors you never knew existed. The storm becomes an opportunity for you to renew your outlook on life, redefine your priorities, and begin to pursue what truly matters. Moreover, renewal brings with it a new perspective. You start to see the world with more compassion and understanding, becoming a beacon of hope for those around you. Your own experience of overcoming can inspire others to find strength in their own storms, showing that renewal is possible. God promises that even if you have to face storms, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. Every challenge you face is a step toward a new life, full of promises, peace, and abundance. By trusting in God during these times, you not only renew yourself but also become a living testimony of His goodness and faithfulness. As you face the storms, God teaches you the importance of standing firm in faith. It is natural that during times of crisis, doubt and fear try to take hold of your heart. However, it is precisely in these moments that your faith becomes an anchor, holding you steady amid the chaos. Standing firm in faith does not mean ignoring the pain or difficulties, but choosing to trust in God even when circumstances seem to go against you. When the storm hits, you may feel like you're being swept away by waves of despair and uncertainty. But it is in these moments that you need to remember what God has already done in your life. Reflecting on His promises and faithfulness in the past gives you the strength to carry on. It's a reminder that even in the darkest hours, God never abandons you. Faith is not just a passive belief. It is an active choice to trust in God, even when we don't understand why things happen. Every day you wake up and choose to trust in His presence, even in the storm, is a step toward victory. This choice of faith strengthens and transforms you because faith feeds on trust and hope, even when dark clouds gather around you. Allowing your faith to become the foundation upon which you stand helps you maintain the right perspective. You begin to see the storm not just as an obstacle, but as an opportunity for growth and learning. This active trust in God not only sustains you but also encourages you to share your story with others, showing them that faith can be a beacon of light in dark times. Thus, standing firm in faith is a testimony that, even when storms are intense, God is more powerful than any difficulty. By trusting in Him, you find the strength to endure, grow, and renew yourself. This lesson is an invitation for you to deepen your relationship with God, knowing that by standing firm, you are never alone in the storm. Finally, one of the most powerful lessons God teaches you through storms is the hope of a better tomorrow. In difficult times, it's easy to get lost in the darkness and forget that every storm, no matter how intense, will eventually pass. It is essential to remember that God is a God of hope and renewal, and after the storm, He brings new beginnings. Hope is not just a simple expectation that things will improve. It is the certainty that God is working in your life, even when you can't see it. He is always orchestrating circumstances for your good. This hope is an anchor that keeps your soul firm and secure, allowing you to look to the future with confidence, even when the present is uncertain. Sometimes, you may feel trapped in the dark clouds of the storm, but it's crucial to remember that the sun will shine again. This certainty encourages you to endure and persevere, knowing that difficulties are temporary and that a new day will bring new opportunities. God offers you the hope that through your struggles, you will be shaped and prepared for something greater. Moreover, hope is contagious. When you demonstrate confidence in a better future, even in difficult times, you become a source of inspiration for others. Your faith and resilience can touch the life of someone who feels lost and discouraged, showing them that there is always a way forward, even in the darkest storms. Ultimately, this lesson invites you to keep your eyes fixed on God, who is the source of all hope. By trusting in Him, you find the courage to face what lies ahead and the assurance that tomorrow can be better. Each storm you encounter is not an end, but a preparation for a new beginning. Therefore, embrace the hope that God offers you and remember that at the end of the storm, there is always the promise of a rainbow and sunny days ahead. As you reflect on the lessons God teaches you through storms, remember that each challenge is an opportunity to grow, strengthen, and renew yourself. Life is full of ups and downs, but by standing firm in faith and cultivating hope, you will discover that even in the worst storms, there is always a greater purpose at work. May you carry in your heart the certainty that after each struggle, God is preparing something special for you. The difficulties may be intense, but they are never in vain. As you look to the future, trust that better days will come and that God's light will always shine in your life. Continue steadfast in your journey, knowing that you are not alone, and allow each storm to transform you into an even stronger and more resilient version of yourself. May your faith and hope inspire not only you but also those around you. As you move forward, remember that each step you take toward the new dawn is a testimony of God's love and grace. Therefore, keep your heart open and your hopes high, for great things are to come. May peace and renewal always be with you.